Today on All Things 80s, we're looking at the Kenner Droids figures. Welcome back to All Things 80s. Now, I've recently finished doing the series where we're looking at the most expensive Star Wars figures, and it was suggested that I continue doing this to look at droids, Ewoks. So we're going to look at the droids figures. Now, this is a line of figures that I have no knowledge about whatsoever. Just from doing my eBay searches, I saw what the figures were, and at first look, I'm not particularly impressed, but let's take a look in more detail and see how much it's going to cost to assemble a complete set of droids figures in the best possible condition. Okay, so checking out the droids figures from Kenner. So first up we have R2-D2 coming in at $2,000. And, you know, this is just a recast of the pop-up lightsaber R2 from the Power of the Force line, in a much more simplistic form to kind of match the animated version. I'm really not a fan of it at all. Now, I do believe in this instance the droids coins are actually gold. So although the bubble is not crystal clear, it's nowhere near as brown as we saw on the Power of the Force line. But for $2,000, I would not be paying that. Next up, we have the A-Wing pilot for $800. Now this one is definitely severely yellowed. It's a bizarre figure, if I'm being honest, given that it came out the previous year on Power of the Force. So why they had to re-release it, I don't know. But I guess from looking at the image, this was a character on the cartoon, but it's something I've not watched. I may watch, but I'm in no rush to watch it. Now, Boba Fett, $8,300. Certainly cheaper than the Star Wars card back version, but this one is punched and it's yellowed. For $8,300, I don't think so. This is Yan Tosh, $400. I really don't know what to say. It's not a character that I'm at all familiar with, and the figure itself just does not scream Star Wars to me. But anyway, moving on. This is Yord Dusat. Now, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing these names correctly, but whatever. $500 for this one. Yellowing's not too bad, if I'm being honest. It is punched, but yeah, $500 for that. Who's this? Kia Mole, $900. At least the bubble's nice and clear. But first thing that strikes me is the animated image we're seeing shows a nice slender figure, whereas this character, or I should say the figure, looks like a fat broad. So I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, $900 for that. Who's this? Kez Iban, $600. Jeez, what a terrible looking figure. Awful looking actually, but unpunched, extremely mint card. Yellowing obviously, but $600 for that. This is C-3PO for only $5,500. Again, it is the original mold, but just in these plastics it just looks weird to me. Not something I have any desire to own, certainly, and certainly not for $5,500. Who is this? I'm trying to see the name, but it's just, oh, size from, okay. Fabric, looks like a Yoda cloak material. Good Lord, terrible figure, but how much was that? $2,600, my God. Even the animation looks pretty terrible, if I'm being honest. But yeah, whatever. This is Thal Yobin for $400. I mean, certainly it looks to be nice condition, bit yellowed, but again, the figures to me just look terrible. I mean, I understand that these are figures that are depicting an animated character, so it does have that cartoonish element to it, but like I said before, it does not scream Star Wars to me. And what's this? This one is Tig From. Okay, $1,000 for this one. Certainly very clear bubble, which is nice to see. Unpunched. So I guess this is as good as it gets for droid figures. That's going to cost you $1,000. And finally, this is Uncle Gundy. $430. And unpunched, which is nice. Bit of a crease, but nothing too much. The figure, my God. Now, I guess if these had been released as part of the Star Wars line, this would be up there with one of the worst figures ever, in my opinion. Uncle Gundy. That was $430. So that was the Star Wars Droids figures. Okay, so that was a look at the Droids figures from Kenner. Now, those 12 figures, the best condition there is, it's going to cost $23,430. Now, that's a hell of a lot of money for what amounts to a pretty poor line of figures, in my opinion. Especially given that we already had Boba Fett, A-Wing Pilot, and the two droids are just recasts of the original molds. The other figures just have no interest to me whatsoever. Like I said, I've never seen the cartoon. I don't know who the characters are, but if you are a completist, I guess you will want these for your collection. But in my opinion, a Star Wars or a Kenner Star Wars collection does not need these figures in it. But that's my opinion. If you think otherwise, let me know in the comment section. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. I want to give a big thank you to the Patreons who support the channel. And finally, I want to say, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and stay tuned for more videos from All Things 80s.